So the thing is, yesterday in CSS, I think we have written, right? Tag name, square bracket, attribute name equal to attribute value. We practiced all this. So even let me show you in CSS how to write this. In CSS, you can just simply remove this, and no need to write a attribute. That is another way to write in CSS also. See, CSS I converted in CSS. This is also correct. So in the XPath, we are just putting a double forward slash and at the rate symbol. See, now if you don't put at the rate symbol, it won't recognize. If you put a double forward slash, see, now it will identify. So the syntax is a little bit different, so don't confuse, okay? Now if you want to use one more attribute and at the rate ID, if I want to use, say email, right? Email is the attribute value. See, it will, two attributes I have used. Even you can use R also. R means any one is there. So this is also correct. More than one attributes you can use. So next we have buttons. Let me show you buttons. So this is the A tag is there. This is the button tag. See, the button tag has similar. You don't need to change, just a button tag name, square bracket. You can see class name is there. I can use a name. Even data-test ID also there. So name equal to login, right? So one is there, right? It is identifying. So other one you can ignore it. This is the how to identify with a button tag. So I have shown you input tag, I have shown you button tag, I have shown you IMC tag with a single attribute with multiple attributes you can identify. You can use a contains also. You can use a starts with also. For example, so this is the Royal, right? Royal login button. Even type also there, right? So let me use the contains and starts with. I'll show you. So button contains. If you use a bracket, you have to use a round bracket. Then attribute name you have to write. So I'm going to use data-test ID. So data-test ID equal to, see, I'm using contains. So in this data-test ID there is a login, right? I can use a login. But don't use, if you use contains equal to means exact. But if you use contains, you don't need to write a equal. Just put, so see, I didn't write a complete value, royal-login button. What I did, I can take a partial value. That is what the flexibility with the contains. Contains will give you a flexibility. You can take that attribute value either beginning or end or in the middle. Anywhere you can take. It will identify that. So if the button tag, this attribute contains this login value, then Selenium will go and identify that. That is this object identification, how to write with the contains. Let me show you with the starts with. Same. Can I use a starts with this data-test ID is starting with the login? Data-test ID attribute is starting with the login. Data-test ID is starting with the login, or what is the value of data-test ID value?
Button, sir.
Button.
Data.
Madam, data-test ID is an attribute. What is the value of that data-test ID value?
Okay.
You are not able to see this data-test ID value?
Seeing, sir. Data-test royal login button.
Then why you are telling button then? So this value, is it starting with the login? Data-test ID is starting. What is the starting word of that data-test ID?
Royal.
But what we have
Royal
given
ID.
here? So starts hyphen with date hyphen test ID login. That's why it is not recognizing. See that?
Okay.
So 0 of 0, it is not recognizing. It is not identifying. Because what we are given a login. Login is the second word, not first word. So I need to change it to royal.
Royal.
See, now
Royal.
it is recognizing that.
Started.
Mm-hmm.
Now it
Starting
is
with Royal.
starting with.
Starting.
So starts with
With
data
Royal.
study with royal. Then you identify. I have given login. Login, it is not starting part. Starting part of data hyphen test. That's why it was not recognizing. Now it is recognized because we have changed login to royal. So that's the starts with means the starting part of that attribute. If starting part of that attribute is there, then it will identify. If it is not there, it won't identify. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions here?
No, sir.
Then see there are a lot of things. How can you identify dynamically changing elements? I have given see button with ID, with type, with name, with ARIA label. Any attribute you can use. That's what simple. I have given this formula you need to remember. This formula you need to remember. These formulas you need to remember. These are examples I have given based on this. I am generating. See everything. If you remember this, and you can write anything. You don't need to know by heart these things. These are generated based on this only. Already you practiced in CSS, but here only extra double forward
Slash
slash
added.
that's it. But here we are getting extra one more. How can you identify dynamically changing elements in Selenium? This is the common interview question. So you have to answer using XPath functions, contains,
Custom.
starts
Start
with,
with.
access XPaths, and CSS
Exit.
also contains starts with you can use to identify dynamically changing web elements. That's the answer you have to give. Now, so what are the XPath functions? Another question. Contains text function,
Start with.
starts hyphen with, and are not last positions access XPaths are following, preceding, ancestor, descendant, following sibling, preceding sibling, ancestor, sibling, descendant, sibling. You can use sibling also along with these access XPaths. So we have seen already contains and starts with. Now we will see text. You want to identify the text. So then you can use text function. You can use single element. You can text identification you can do. For example, this is the static text, right? This is the link text. But this one is a static text. See how to identify them. Even this one, logo.
Header.
So IMG, this is IMG. See, you can use alt also. So this is IMG, you can identify that with a contains or so any alt is Facebook. But let me show you this text. I want to identify this text. Say div class. So this, you cannot use this. You can use this text. How to identify with this text? So let me write that. This text function you can use. See that? So identifying the links, static text, header text, any text you want to identify, you can use contains method and also text function. Both you can use. So double forward slash tag name square bracket contains of text function comma single quote partial or complete text you can give close. See how sir which bracket when to close? Say this is the outer bracket, this is the inner bracket. First, while closing, close the inner bracket. Okay? This one is the inner
Yes, sir.
bracket that you close. Then the outer bracket is this one. So inner to outer while closing time. While opening time, outer to inner. While closing time, inner to outer. So that's a formula, if you remember. So easy. Now contains, see, I am not using equal to. Contains, if you use, always use comma and give that. Or you can use exact text function you want to give. You want to identify with the exact text function. Say // tag name square bracket text function equal to exact text. Exact text you have to give. Now, so let's see these things how to. I want to identify this text. How can you identify? Let me write that. So // what is the tag name of this recent logins text? What is the tag name for this?
Recent login.
Reason.
Tag
Tag
name.
name
Div, sir,
as
tag name.
Tag
due
name
to
is div. So I think Harika, you are struggling with that. Monica. Harika is able to tell. Monica is struggling. The angle bracket starts. That's a div.
This is not with the div.
Don't confuse there. So this text element. This
Question
text
class
element has a div.
due.
div.
Div tag. Square bracket contains of, that is a text. So text function comma single quote recent. Either you can write a complete or you can write a partial. I am writing partial.
Okay.
So it is identifying, right? So div contains a text recent. It is there, right? This
Yes,
div
sir.
contains recent. So that's why it is identifying that element. Sir, can I give a complete text? Of course, you can give. If it is not changing, you can give. See, you can give partial, you can give full also. Or, sir, without contains, can I use only text function? Yes, you can use.
Okay.
Text equal to, you have to give equal to single quote and the text. So this is the another way to write. Either you can use a contains text or you can use a
Without the
complete text
content.
or you can use a starts with also. Starts with the text. Starts hyphen with bracket text. But if you use a starts with or contains, you should not use equals. So recent logins. See here you can see 1 of 1. That means with this XPath, there is only one element in this web page. With this XPath. So that is how to write a, you can write a contains a text. Starts with the text or only text function.
Text.
See, I will identify this forget password link text. The A tag.
A tag.
A tag, so, but it's a link, right? This is the text. See how to write. But the what is the tag name of this?
A.
A
A.
tag. Good, very good. That's how you need to identify tag names. A tag starts with the text. See, forget, right? Forgot. So I'm giving only forgot. That's it. See, I didn't give complete. What is the complete name? Forget password question mark, right? I didn't give. That's the beauty. But it starts with, can I give a password?
It's a ending, sir. A forward.
So that's why it won't identify. See, if I give a
Yes, sir.
password, see, it won't recognize 0 of 0.
Starting not now, so that's why.
So starts with, it doesn't work out. Then you can give contains if you want. If you want to
Okay.
take a password, you can give contains.
Content.
Okay.
But if I, so can I give without anything contains or starts with, can I give a partial with, if you use only text function, can I give the like this? Why it's not recognizing? Text function means you have to give complete value of this text. But what we haven't given complete, right? That's why it
Yes,
is
sir.
not identifying 0 of 0. So if you want to identify that, so you need to give complete text. If you take only text function, you have to give complete value. See, now it is recognizing. Now it is recognizing, right?
Yes, sir.
So are you all clear on the contains text to
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Starting.
Starting with.
only text
Yes, sir.
function? So these are the three important things. These are different ways to identify a web element, but you should practice all ways. So we don't know which way it is going to help us. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we covered contains the text, contains even see the dynamically changing. You can use attributes also. See, attributes also you can use. Any attribute you can use, right? Any attribute you can use. Even starts with also. Starts with the text you can do. So that starts with means if an element starts text or attribute value is constant, the end portion might be changing, then you can use the starts with. So you can identify the links, so static text to header text using starts with and text function. And even you can use identify based on the attribute also. Based on the attribute also you can identify start or complete attribute value you can write. Okay. So, and the next one is, and I have already shown you, you can use and. Negative XPath, we don't have any example now. That is something not that much important. Last function, position function, and normalize hyphen space. So normalize hyphen space matches the element on the web page by ignoring starting and ending spaces in text. See, now here also spaces, here also spaces. If you write double forward slash star or this button square bracket normalize hyphen space equal to strawberry, then it will identify. It will ignore these spaces by this normalize hyphen space. So what is a normalize hyphen space is another function which ignores the
Spaces.
starting and ending, not in between the words, okay? Starting and ending of that text. So those will be removed. But if it is space in the straw space berry, then it won't no remove that. Only beginning, ending
Ending.
portion spaces only it won't consider. We don't know, right? How many spaces here, how many spaces here. Such cases you can use a normalize hyphen space or contains also you can use. Okay? Contains or normalized space you can use. So that's another widely used function, XPath function, to identify an element based on the text. If there are spaces, normalize hyphen space will be used. Let me show you last function and position function. So last element will be identified. So this is the one. You write the XPath of the first element, then you give the square bracket inside last function. Automatically the last element will be identified. If multiple elements are there, and you cannot put a bigger XPath, right? So instead of that, you can use this. or even position, identifies the element based on the position. So instead of this, you can use a index based tag name. We did already, right? That you can use. This is also another way to identify. So let me show you these two last and position functions. So now I will identify this, right? I will identify this. What will happen? This is identifying the first element, that is sign up. So now I want to identify last element. So how can you identify LI last? So right here last. So it will identify the last element. But but one I want to identify. Last -1 you do.
Okay.
-1 you do. See, now it is identifying careers. If you want last but one blog. See, this is the last element in this section. And I identified with the last function, but you can even identify other elements also. So this is the how to identify with the last function. So there is a position. So you can give, for example, position equal to, for example, I want to identify first one. It will identify first one. Or you want to identify second one, third one, third, fourth one, fourth. So like this, you can identify elements. So this is the how you can use a position, right? Instead of we used to give LI of 2, LI of 3, something, right? Instead of that, you can give position equal to 4, 3, 2, 1 also. This is another way to identify your elements based on the position also. So we covered XPATH, normalized space, and position, last, starts with, contains the text, contains attributes, starts with attributes. So all we have covered, right? So these are dynamically changing elements also you can identify. So in the Rediff, we have a Rediff web page. These are all dynamically changing web elements, right? If we go to this page, everything dynamically changes here. See, this one is drop down, this country drop down. If you take this name value, it won't identify. Name doesn't help you, so it won't recognize. Now it will recognize, but if you refresh the page, see, name value will change again. See, name value, it is not recognized because it has changed that value. But this dynamically changing attribute values, how can you identify? With the contains, starts with, you can use, right? That's what I have shown you. See, this one, I can write XPath, /select contains of @name, comma, single quote, country. I'm omitting the dynamically changing value, so that this will work always. Even you can use, see, even if you refresh also, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So it will identify. See, same is recognizing, right? One match. So that is the one. Even you can use contains also here. Starts with, sorry, starts hyphen with. So name start value is starting with the country, right? This is the country. So this name attribute starting with the country. So that starts with also will work. Contains anywhere you can take. in the beginning or end anywhere. That's why contains starts with is used to identify dynamically changing elements. Clear? Let me show you a last one. I will close that. But anyhow, tomorrow I'm going to cover that. So you don't need. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to cover this. I will tell tomorrow. But yeah, so you can see this one. This text has a lot of spaces. See how many spaces are there here. Can you observe U before and the colon after there are spaces. We don't know how many spaces are here. See how many spaces are this? See, these are all spaces. Beginning and ending also you have all these spaces. So how can we write a normalized space is the best option or contains text? So let me show you that. Span, right? Double forward slash span square bracket normalize hyphen space equal to single quote text. See, it is recognizing, right? So this is the beauty of this normalized, or you can use contains text, but you should not use a text function alone. Why? Because it has a spaces. Text function means you have to give exact value of that tag, but we don't know how many spaces. So that's why normalized space or contains will work in these cases. Okay, so that's all, and tomorrow I'll cover